Hello and welcome everybody to another top 5 video. This week we're going to be discussing top 5 Pokemon villains of all time. This top 5 will be based on my opinion, and if you don't agree, please leave your own favorite Pokemon villains in the comment section below and let's get this discussion going. Additionally, discussing the theme that they're actually representing. So number 5 is going to be Lysander of Team Flare. I mean, aesthetic-wise, I feel like Lysander is one of the most underrated Pokemon villains of all time. I mean, Pokemon X and Y is where a lot of fans actually fell off because, well, it's just an underwhelming game. But for me, Pokemon X and Y is definitely one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. I mean, it's the very first 3D animated Pokemon game, and it's very beautiful. And as you may know, I freaking sim for the Manga evolution for Pokemon. So overall, Pokemon X and Y is really not that bad of a game in my opinion. So with that being said, Lysander is actually not, in terms of motive, I find his motive is really lacking. Just creating a beautiful world in its own design, and it is designed by actually destroying the region itself by using an ancient weapon that was created by an ancient king. That's essentially the plot of the entire Pokemon X and Y. I do find it a little bit lacking, but overall, it's here in the top 5. So solely because I freaking love the aesthetics of Lysander. So number 5, solely because of the aesthetics, I love Lysander, yo. Like that final battle where he has that bug robot, I freaking love how cool that was. Freaking each of the design for all of the admins, the special officers, and freaking even the grunts, I legitimately love Team Flare's design. So yes, number 5 is gonna be Team Flare. Number 4 gets us from Team Plasma. A little bit higher than Team Flare, because for me, I do think Getsis is like the PETA of the Pokemon world, and so it started off as a PETA and then it revolves around Getsis wanting world domination, just having him use the Pokemon of the world. So for me, I definitely love the aesthetic in the lore for Getsis more than Team Flare does. Just saying, and then the aesthetics, of course, I love the aesthetic of Team Flare. I love characters like Chorus and being used by Getsis for world domination and being used in a way where they think they're liberating Pokemon. Instead, they're actually fulfilling Getsis' plan of world domination. So for me, in terms of lore alone, Getsis makes sense in a way because of the initial lore, and also I love a lot of the characters. I love the design for Getsis. I love even the Team Plasma in Pokemon Black and White 2. Overall, Team Plasma is definitely a little bit better in my opinion than Team Flare. So number 4 is gonna be Getsis and Team Plasma. Let's proceed into number 3 is another MILF waifu appreciation for this Pokemon list. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of those. So of course, I'm gonna be putting Lusamin. It's mainly because she's the very first female protagonist. Reminds me a little bit of Ragyu, where she was obsessed initially to like otherworldly beings, and then in the anime she's rather cute and very doting mother, but in the video games she take it a little further. Like she originally started off just looking for a way to reunite with her family, with her husband, but then that gets corrupted and it blew up out of proportion for our lady Lusamin from Aether Paradise, and now she's obsessed with otherworldly beings such as the Ultra Beast. So for me, Lusamin definitely a contender for crazy Pokemon villains of all time. So either Paradise Lusamine is my number 3. Without further ado, let's proceed into number. Is ready for some top 5? Yay! Top 5 Pokemon Professor. These are the Pokemon Professor I love since the beginning, since their introduction. Oh my goodness, I freaking love. With that being said, this top 5 is based primarily on my opinion. If you don't agree, please leave your own top 5 or your favorite Pokemon Professor in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get this discussion going with number 5. Number 5. Of course, we'll start this video off with a waifu appreciation video, which is Sonia, because I freaking love Sonia's development throughout Pokemon Sword. Like, one of the many few things I love about Sonia, aside from character design, because she is hella cute and hella sexy AF. The Rule 34 that I've seen of her, oh my goodness, chef's kiss right there. But his character development, this character arc is one of the most heartfelt or heartwarming, what am I saying? Freaking, it touched my heart, my dude. I love it. I feel proud for her for becoming an official Pokemon Professor. So assuming that she doesn't yet have a branch to study like freaking Professor Birch or any other Pokemon Professor, she's probably gonna be following through her grandmother, which Magnolia, who studies Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. So yes. Number 5, primarily because I love his character arc in Pokemon Sword and Shield, I will put Professor Sonia from Pokemon Sword and Shield number 5 in this list. Without further ado, let's go on to number 4. The Pokemon Professor that studies Pokemon habitat, who explores the wild primarily. Like, it's literally obvious from the start of the 3rd generation games what he studied, because he's literally out in the field, out in the freaking field, being chased by a freaking hyena, like a hyena puppy, like that. So yes, Professor Birch, who studies Pokemon habitat, is gonna be number 4 on my list, primarily because one of the many things that I love about Pokemon Professor compared to Professor Elm is he's actually has some relevance to the story, which is he's the father of a rival, and for me that's wonderful for me, because in Pokemon, fathers really doesn't exist in Pokemon. So for me, that's probably why Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald or Auras, it stands out, because, well, we have fathers for the first time, and they're freaking legends. They are Pokemon Professor, they're gym leader. So yes, number 4 would be Pokemon Professor Birch from the 3rd generation of games. Without further ado, let's proceed to number 3. Professor Kukui, who studies Pokemon moves. Basically, it's just to reiterate that Gen 7 is all about the Z moves. So he studies Pokemon moves. Similarly, Sycamore studies Mega Evolution because X and Y focuses on Mega Evolution. So yes, number 3, Professor Kukui from the 7th generation games. Oh my god, I freaking love design alone. I just love the design. That he looks so chill. Like, he legit looks chill, and like a Giga Chat who lives in the coast. I freaking love Kukui's design overall. But what prompts me, or what interests me in Kukui's character, is the fact that he was actually a Pokemon trainer who challenged Indigo League. I freaking love the backstory for Kukui. And then he come back to Alola, losing the Indigo League, and then decided to build his own Pokemon League in Alola. Oh, for me, that's the most respectable, childly thing to do in your small region. Freaking, I love Professor Kukui, my dudes. Oh my goodness. Just that alone, that character backstory, the very first character backstory in Pokemon that I actually love from first glance. So for me, number 3 is Professor Kukui from the 7th generation of games.